Like, and it was just everything that I just said. I'm humbled because I've done this worked with people for years and have friends, and I can't imagine doing this every day. I really, it's making me teary because I've only, what time is it? 10:15.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's easier now that I'm in here, but I run accessibility services, and I'm trying to get around. Like, we moved the wheelchair, there's boxes that just trying to get around things. It's not easy. So we're gonna go out in the campus and
go around the campus. Maybe we can go together.
Yeah.
My wife once said to me that I do more work in the morning getting ready for work than most people do at work all day long.
I believe it. I believe it. Like, cause everything, like, just to get, cause I can, right now, it's not an accurate experience because I can use my legs and I can move myself where I need to, but it's a procedure for you. Like, you would have to, like, people use transfer boards and they're like lifting yourself with your arms, and I you know, it's a very big eye opener, but it still won't be as difficult as it is for you.
Well, that's the whole point of it. It's just open people's eyes a little bit and make them a little bit more aware, and I think it's working.
Well, a friend of mine, she's in a wheelchair, and she mentioned to me on Facebook too, like, this is a perfect experience for anybody who makes decisions on policy for people with disabilities and their programs. Anyone who works with people with disabilities, and not just people in wheelchairs. Spend the day with your eyes covered. Spend the day not doing anything for yourself. Like, it should be mandatory training for people who work with people with disabilities.
Very well. I'm not a lawyer, I'm just a boring banker, so. But, you know what, incredibly educational. And the fact about that you have to kind of figure out your plan early in the day. You know, I got out of my Jeep at 6:15 this morning, the lower level of the parking garage, and popped the wheels open and sat in it, and then looked back at the Jeep and thought, I'm on the wrong floor. I can't get to where I need to go on this floor. So anyway, we managed the process. I had my SVP in today, and he didn't know anything about this, so I met him at Cora's. I made mention to Cora's that their entrance for such is very, very difficult. And that was kind of my first incline. Got through the first two doors, and then they have a very subtle incline. In a chair, a subtle incline is not so subtle. And it was like I got halfway and it started to tip back and think, oh, I'm in trouble here. The part that I found really quite interesting was the amount of attention that I got in the branch in terms of just people asking and inquiring as to what was going on. So I think the exposure part was great. For me personally, it was an amazing experience. The bank has an online system where we can do a blog, so I actually blogged my experience today, and that reaches right across the country. So I had a number of conversations with people that throughout the country, so they were kind of following my journey, so it was kind of neat that way. And you know, at the end of the day, I needed Trius to help me up the front door here because I couldn't get up by myself. The fact that people reach out and help was great, but I think for me, it's about having conversations to make sure that we can help in any way we can. So, thank you. It's been very rewarding.
Quickly, similar experience as everyone else. Definitely an eye-opener. We have a relatively new branch out in Sherwood, but you think about it being wheelchair accessible, and it is to get in. But definitely around the office, if you had to be an employee, and I did work with a young lady that actually in her early 20s fell off the back of her horse and got paralyzed from the waist down. So she's working in her Montague branch, and it is a challenge. So when you look around the workplace and just trying to get into the bathroom, even though it's supposed to be wheelchair accessible, it's a lot narrower. It's not an actually wheelchair accessible sink, so you're trying to wash your hands like this. So lots of challenges for sure. And again, comments from customers. I had one customer that came in that was saying, said, what happened to you? He'd see what your customer looks like. I had another person that actually, his wife's been in a wheelchair for close to 30 years, and he was just saying how much he appreciated, you know, the organization doing this and people in the community doing it. And you know, things that I was saying, yeah, it's quite an experience. I said, just even sitting in the chair, how uncomfortable you can get by the end of the day. And he was saying things like, yeah, and he goes, you know, a really good cushion for your wheelchair is $300. If you wanted to get anything that has disability written on it, it's probably twice as much or 3 times as much as the same thing that doesn't have disability written on it. So again, a really good eye-opener for me, and again, just thinking more so, making sure that whatever you can do around your office or your workplace to help out, definitely will make a difference to those people that unfortunately are in a wheelchair and have to deal with it every day.
I mean, like going on the sidewalk, getting on and off the sidewalk and that sort of thing, and going up ramps, you know, kind of figured what that experience was like, but I was down the bottom of Sullivan there dinner time, and I couldn't even tell which was forks and which were the knives, because they were up around here, eh? And then I was coming in here this evening, and I was going along the cement floor, and I came to this rubber mat with a bunch of little pixels in it like that, and as soon as my chair got onto that, it just ground to a halt. And why would they have that in front of a door for, you know, a wheelchair accessible? But it's the little things. Even in the legislature today, I couldn't get my chair around the post there to get over to my seat.
Wow.
You know, you don't notice that. Normally, I just walk right through there and never think anything of it. But I had to get somebody to help me get around there, you know. It's just little things that you don't even think of. You'll see the signs, you know, and parking spots and all that kind of thing, but the little things that you guys go through on a day-to-day basis that we just simply take for granted. It's unbelievable. But it's the little things that caught me today, really.
I think the cheerleaders event for the CPA Prince Edward Island is just an amazing opportunity to bring awareness to our organization. It's terrific for people to get exposed to what everyday life is in a wheelchair for those who have to use it every day. So anytime we can bring awareness and help those who just ask for the same as you and I to be able to function every day in a normal life, this is a terrific awareness, and we're really happy and thank those who have participated, and to our sponsors, we truly appreciate your support.
Well, it's been an interesting day so far. Obviously, it's been a great experience. You know, you sort of start to appreciate some of the challenges that people with disabilities face on a daily basis. And I know for me, personally at the airport, it's been interesting just to try to put yourselves in someone else's shoe that might be traveling through the airport. So I'm trying to get around the airport and experience as much of the airport as possible. And I know my office certainly wasn't designed for a wheelchair, so that's been a bit of a challenge already today, but I'm looking forward to the rest of the day and seeing how I get along and helping out this great cause.
So this morning I almost changed my mind about going to Starbucks because I started to get nervous thinking this is going to be tough. And but then I remembered what Paul had said, and he said, no, you have to go about your day, your regular day. So I headed off to my coffee shop and got some help along the way, because part I was most nervous about was getting stuck on University Avenue, and that's exactly what happened as I held up the morning traffic. But I did accept the help of some people that I knew, so that was great. But I certainly have learned a lot in the last 2 hours of being in a wheelchair, of just how tough it is to get around the city.
A little bit Starbucks. You want to tell that story?
Yeah, so when I got to Starbucks, I first looked at the door where I thought I was going to go in. I saw this lip this high, and I said, okay, that can't be the accessible door. So I wheeled around to the other door, and the lip was this high, so I said, that's not the door. So I went back to the other door, and as I looked at it thinking, how am I going to get in that door? A gentleman came behind, and he helped lift the chair up, and another gentleman opened the door. And when I went in, the manager was there, and I said to the manager, that was tough. And she said, no, we have a ramp out there. And I said, that is not a ramp. And so I offered her the chair so she could go show me how she could get into her store, but she didn't take me up on it. So yeah. So that was my experience at Starbucks this morning. So yeah.